Hello, and welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Krista Llewellyn, and I am a professional makeup artist and a makeup educator. And today I'm going to give you a few quick helpful tips on how to work in special effects laboratories. So tip number one for working in a lab environment is definitely to dress appropriately. You want to make sure that you're wearing comfortable clothes that are fairly sturdy, but also clothes that you don't like. Because I don't know if you can tell, but my shirt is a little dirty. And it's been washed, but it's just constantly dirty. So if you're doing things like mold making, running prosthetics, foam fabricating, things like that, anything that you're gonna get a little bit messy, you'll wanna wear clothes that you don't like. Don't wear anything that you would feel absolutely devastated if it got completely ruined. But also, you wanna make sure that you are wearing clothes that are safe enough for you to work in a lab environment. So if you are required to wear long sleeves or long pants, go ahead and do that. Sometimes when it's a really hot day, I'll wear shorts that are cut off at the knee. You don't want to wear short shorts. Certainly you don't want to wear skirts, and closed-toed shoes are very essential. There are possibilities of you dropping things on your feet, such as sharp objects or even heavy objects. So wearing some sturdy shoes is always important, and especially closed-toed shoes. So another way of trying to keep your clothes clean and professional while you're working is wearing something like an apron. I have a couple of different aprons for the different work that I do. I have my general apron for everyday lab work. I have a life casting apron that has lots of like stone and alginate that's kind of stuck on it. And then I also have a separate apron for fiberglassing, because fiberglass can really stick into any fabric surfaces. So I keep that one away for just fiberglass. Another tip for the lab in terms of your attire is definitely keeping your hair away and up. Sometimes you'll be working with different power tools, you'll be over a mold, you'll be working with different chemicals and things like that. You don't want your hair to get into it, and you don't want your stuff getting stuck in your hair. So typically I'll have my hair braided like so, or up in a bun with a little bit of like a bandana or something to protect it. And another thing that I personally do when I'm in the lab is I don't wear makeup. As you can see, my makeup has changed since the intro of this video. The reason why I like doing that is because when you have makeup on, things can get stuck to the surface of your skin because there's a little bit of cream or what have you that different particles can get stuck on. But also, if I need to rub my eye for any reason, if I need to get something off of my face, if I need to quickly wash my face, if I get anything in my eye or get anything on my skin, I don't have to worry about makeup. And that's just a personal preference for me. Sometimes I'll wear a little bit of concealer, but basically everything else, I don't care. And you also want to make sure that you're not really wearing excessive jewelry, nothing that's going to hang or dangle, and especially don't wear anything on your hands, no rings unless you're wearing a wedding ring or something like that, because there's a potential of something heavy falling on it and crushing the ring, and that could be a very dangerous situation. But also with like necklaces, bracelets, things like that, again, if you're working with power tools, you don't want those things getting in the way. And another personal preference for me, but also a little bit of a safety tip, I like to keep my nails short, not very long. I don't have acrylics. Long nails can have the possibility of breaking and injuring yourself. So for a safety tip, you don't want to have excessively long nails. But as a personal preference, I try to keep my nails as short as possible, especially when I'm sculpting, because you can accidentally nick the surface of your clay with your nail while you're trying to work. And especially when you're in your last stages of finalizing your piece, you don't want that happening.
The next tip that I want to talk to you about is safety gear. It is very important that you wear proper safety protection while you're working in the lab, and it will change depending on the project that you work on. The first one is going to be gloves. For typically any project, you will want to wear gloves, but especially when you are mold making and running pieces. It's important to know which kind of gloves you are using. Typically, we will use nitrile gloves. You 100% don't want to use any sort of latex glove when using platinum silicone, as it will inhibit the curing of your silicone. The next safety gear that I want to go over are masks. So an N95 mask we should all be familiar with, but these are important to wear when you're working with any sort of particulate, cabosil, or if you're sanding down fiberglass. And you'll want to make sure that it's on properly, with the nose bridge pinched in and the straps properly in place. And while N95s help us with particulates, you will also need something for chemical compounds or vapors, and that's where you'll have a respirator. So it's best to keep your respirator in some sort of Ziploc bag. That way the filters don't constantly filter the air around it. And it's important to get filters that are both rated for organic vapors as well as particulates. Again, make sure that your masks are fitted properly, tight to your face, around your head and neck, and it's best to change out your filters every so often. You'll want to look at the packaging on your respirator and on your filters to see when their lifespan is. Some other safety equipment that you will probably wear within the lab are some safety glasses or safety goggles. These are best for when you are working with, again, particulates that could be flying around. And you'll also want to have work gloves in case you are going to be working with any power tools that require them, hot things, or any woodworking.
So now that you have your proper protection and your proper clothes, another important tip when you're going to work for a lab is bringing your own kit with you. Most labs should have everything that you need for that particular job, but it's a little bit of a courtesy to bring your own kit to show that you have those tools, that you have that work experience. And sometimes you might have tools that you like just for yourself, that you're very in tune to. So it's good to bring your own kit with you. I have a small little kit that I like to bring with me that has my respirator, my sculpting tools, and some basic tools as well. You don't have to do anything too extensive, just a small basic kit with a couple of different things. And I'll show you that in another video. Another important tip to know when you are working in a lab environment is, while things may get really messy, it's important for you to keep your workstation clean and to just clean up after yourself in general. And sometimes you're gonna have to clean up after other people, especially if you are starting out in the lab environment and it's your first or second job. You're probably gonna have to sweep floors, you're probably gonna have to take out the trash, and that's okay. It's something that everyone does. I've had to clean bathrooms, I've had to scrape off paint on a green screen stage before. Don't get too angry about it. It's something that everyone does, and it's a little bit of an initiation going into the lab. So if you keep your station clean and you're cleaning up after everyone else, people will remember that. And my very last tip for you, and I say this to absolutely everyone, this applies not only to the lab but on set as well, but you always want to be on time. I cannot emphasize enough how much you need to be on time. Something that my high school theater teacher taught me, which really sticks with me today, is if you are early, you are on time. If you are on time, you are late. And if you are late, you are fired. And that is very true in this industry in general. Sometimes they'll have a little bit more leniencies. If you're like 5 minutes late, you let them know that you're late. Communication is key. Sometimes that happens, sometimes traffic happens, sometimes accidents happen. It's okay, but you always want to be as early as you can. Being about like 15 minutes early is a safe spot for me. That way you can get your stuff in, get everything settled, and then right when that time comes for you to work, you are working. If your call time is 9, you should be working at 9. It's not getting your coffee, it's not chit-chatting with your coworkers, it is working. So that's why it's always important to come early. And it's a bad look if you are late, because especially on a movie set, there's a lot of people who are there and ready to work, and time is money. So if you are late and you're holding up the rest of the crew, then that's gonna be more money for the producers later. So it's almost easier to just fire you and to hire another person who can get to set on time. Just keep that in mind. Something I always like to emphasize with my students. Thank you for watching my video. I hope that some of this information was helpful for you. Make sure you like this video and subscribe to my channel. And if you are curious about more helpful tips and tricks for makeup, you can also sign up for my Patreon at Krista Llewellyn MUA, where I have tons of extra stuff and a full library full of different videos. So you can head over there if you're interested. If not, thank you for being here, and I hope you have a good day.